What's up, Honors World Literature? It is I, Coach Hall, coming to you today for chapter 49. We're getting there. Tomorrow we'll do chapter 50, and then Thursday we'll conclude with chapter 51. Still a lot to unpack over the next couple of days, and this chapter here is no different. This chapter catches us up pretty quickly. I mean, I know you guys probably weren't alive in 2001, but amazingly, but this chapter catches us up pretty quickly to the Afghanistan, or close to the Afghanistan as we know it today. As you know, the Taliban, they were no longer in power after 2001, and you may have asked yourself why that is. If you know anything about American history, then you know that on 9/11, September 11th, 2001, Al-Qaeda, led by a guy named Osama bin Laden, who was pulling the strings for them, crashed a couple of planes into the Twin Towers in New York City. Osama bin Laden was holed up in Afghanistan at this time. Basically, George W. Bush, our president, who had his ups and downs as a leader, but he was probably most revered as a leader, as a man of stature during this time. He needed Osama bin Laden to be turned over by the Taliban, and the Taliban said, "No, we're not giving him up." And ultimately, that level of, I guess you could call it pride, ended up costing the Taliban, because the United States then invaded Afghanistan and basically took out the Taliban. Let's back up a little bit. I did want to mention that General Massoud here in chapter 49 has been assassinated. You may remember him as the guy who kind of vanquished, some would argue he did, some would argue he didn't, but at least helped vanquish the Soviets, the communists, in the early 90s, all throughout the 80s and in the 90s. And then Massoud is finally killed here. We're kind of sad because we know that Massoud did a lot of good things. Tariq is kind of bummed out about that because he remembers Massoud as being the good leader of all these things. But in all fairness, Lila doesn't have a great perception of him because both of her brothers were killed under Massoud's watch fighting for him. And then, of course, the widespread violence under Massoud's watch that led to the rockets going off in Kabul, and ultimately her mother and father's death. And so she's not happy about that. So Tariq saw a little bit of that, but he didn't see the really bad part. He left to go to Pakistan, a few weeks before it got really bad there in Kabul. Anyway, there's a commotion in the lobby in chapter 49. People gathered around the TV, and that's when we see that the Taliban, not the Taliban, I'm sorry, Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, different. They attacked the New York City, the United States, and Bush, the United States, we're going to send, we being Americans, we're going to send troops over there and planes and bombs over there, and we're going to, in an effort to root out Osama bin Laden, we're going to go and basically, kill many of the Taliban, yes, but like also kind of vanquish that. There's some bad people that were running Afghanistan at this time. And, they had taken what was holy and sacred scripture and completely twisted it, says Tariq, to call it Pashtun, tradition, Tariq says, of honoring our guests and our country. It reminds me a little bit of Mariam's trial. These old holy people, taking. Again, I don't want to downplay anybody's religious beliefs, but anytime your religious beliefs are used to persecute others, I don't care what religion you are. There's nothing valuable about that. Tariq thinks of this war as an opportunity that Afghanistan will see better days now, because if the Americans can go in and root this out, and then of course there's a fight there because Lila doesn't want to see, the Mujahideen and seeing these civil wars that had torn up her country and basically never got resolved during Mariam's lifetime. She doesn't want this just to lead to more widespread violence. Taliban's bad. Lila's not going to bat for the Taliban here, but I think she's worried about the cost of the innocent people like herself and Mariam and all of those people that she knows. It's easy for Tariq to say, but all those people that she still knows back in Afghanistan, her home country, and Kabul, her home city. So Tariq and Lila kind of have a little bit of a fight about that. And really cool ending to this chapter is Zalmai coughing. Again, that's not cool. But Zalmai is sick here in this chapter. He's not sick, but he's like kids do. He's got a cough. He's up late. He's probably waking up Aziza, or maybe Aziza's tossing and turning. And anyway, Lila, hold up, I got it. And Tariq goes, and Tariq is going to take Zalmai, the coughing child, and hold him and rock him back and forth. And it's a really cool stepdad, stepson moment. And it's really the first, Zalmai was just calling him a donkey yesterday. And now Zalmai's got his head on Tariq's shoulder. Tariq kind of, holding him and patting his back and making sure he's okay, rocking him back and forth. And when Tariq comes back to bed, Lila reaches over and feels a tear on Tariq's cheek. And this is a really proud moment for Tariq. He gets to be, I think it's the first time he thought there's a really good chance. After working on him, he'd been working on him, and it wasn't always good. But I think for the first time, he starts to realize that there's a good chance that he gets to actually be this kid's dad. I mean, I know that, hey, I got a stepmom myself, so I know step parents aren't exactly the same as like true blood mother and father. But I will say this: Zalmai is young enough here to where it really can be like that. Again, I think we said the other day, if Zalmai were like 13 here, if Zalmai were 13, Tariq would always be his stepdad that married his mom. But Zalmai is young enough now to where Tariq can kind of be like his dad, And I think Tariq, that's all he really wanted. That's all really Tariq wanted from Zalmai, was to have that father-son relationship. But he can't force that. Can't force that, kids. You can't force I'm your dad now, call me dad. He's not going to do that. So Zalmai has to kind of come to that on his own. We get the sense that he does do that here. And this sets us up really beautifully for the last two chapters, because now we have Aziza and Tariq in lockstep with their parents. Aziza and Zalmai in lockstep with their parents. Tariq and Lila, and there's war in Afghanistan, but there's peace in Pakistan in this beautiful mountain town. And again, I've said this before about a couple of other chapters, you almost kind of want it to end there. But we got to go into chapters 50 and 51. It's nothing bad. It's not like the last time we wanted it to end, where, Mariam's swinging a shovel and Rashid dies. You kind of want it to end there. And then when Mariam is executed, you're really bummed by that. So this is good news here, Tariq and Zalmai, good news here. But of course, that means the next chapter's got to be awful. And it's not. It's just that, I would say this is one of the more, there's still some Mariam stuff to uncover. Like I said that last week. That's no spoiler. And so we're going to go into that a little bit more. Anyway, we're going to talk about chapter 50 tomorrow. How about that? Made it to chapter 50. And then 51 on Thursday. So keep working on those questions. Keep getting them in. Remember, only one written assignment this week. It's just those questions. That's all we're doing this week. I'm going to do these videos, and then we're going to kind of jump into what's next for us next week as far as the graphic organizer, the graphic novel goes. Maybe a graphic organizer for the graphic novel, and we're going to talk about that next week. So, anyway, hope you guys are having a great week. Stay dry out there. Looks like we can get a little bit of rain. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. Peace. Peace in the Middle East.